what kind of motivated you to speak about what you did at the opening session of the day?
I think I wanted to talk about mixed reality game design and kind of really get the point across around what we feel mixed reality is at Magic Leap. I think a lot of people, talking about augmented reality and think that that's crossing into mixed reality. I wanted to separate out what mixed reality actually was.
Yeah, sure. And the opening slide was quite a striking one, talking about every talk, every speech should be an attempt to change the world. And you talked about trying to do that today. You feel that optimistic about the potential of these technologies?
Yeah, well, I think mixed reality, I believe mixed reality will define the next generation. And I believe we'll actually all start to exist in it. And I think the challenge is to create a society that is acceptable to all of us to be a part of that. That everyday adventure idea, that everyone is taking part in some larger adventure, seems like a fantastic way to go.
Yeah, sure. And I wanted to ask, forgive me that we're the first morning of the first day of the conference, but how has the conference struck you, in terms of, I know, I'm going to ask, in terms of, or the location of the conference or anything about it?
I'm looking forward to this week. So, the speakers lined up. Brenda and John tomorrow are good friends of mine. I'm going to be sitting there in the audience and met a bunch of the speakers today. It looks like it's going to be a great few days. I'm really looking forward to it.
Right, okay, and I mean, to me the location here is special. I guess I'm talking about what makes this conference distinct. Like how, again, we're here in the first morning of the conference, but it feels fairly special as a location and a place in a conference. I just wondered if you had any thoughts on that.
I walked around Brighton a lot on Sunday. I walked all the way down the shore, and I looked at the pier, and I looked at the carousel, and took pictures of the seagulls and so forth. And there's something creative about this area. And all you have to do is walk down the streets and realize, you're inside, somewhere that is creative. And so I think it's the perfect place to have a conference. Yeah,
sure. And you mentioned Brenda and John. I wondered if there's anything else you're particularly looking forward to here, whether it be it speakers or opportunities or anything like that.
Well, there's a few talks today. There's one going on, I think, just starting that's, we're talking about AR mapping and AR mapping of the world. And I'm really interested to see what's going on there.
Yeah, sure. And so, I mean, it feels like this is perhaps the year of, I guess I'll say, mixed reality at this conference, right? It seems like there's a new prominence of those kind of talks compared to the obsession with virtual reality of recent years. It'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, I think virtual reality is still continuing. I think it's finding its way as kind of the platform. I think mixed reality is coming in now, and people are starting to realize, whoa, that's the thing where I can hang out and actually be in a mixed reality world, and I can still, reach for my beer in front of me, and I can still kind of be in the world, and stuff's adding to the world as well. That's even cooler. And so there's some sort of magnetic attraction to it of like, eventually virtual reality will be mixed reality, and mixed reality will be virtual reality, and all of these things will be just in our world, and it will be our world. So I think the conversation is just expanding.
Yeah, exactly, and I guess one doesn't come at the expense of the other, right? That's the excitement about these things. And as we've got near to your talk, the topics of your talk again, just for the last question, I was really enchanted by your 5-minute rule with regards to kind of worthwhile apps and technologies. So if you could just explain that would be fantastic.
Oh, the 5-mile rule?
The 5-mile rule.
Well, we came up with it for PitchFest. We wanted some idea that that could strike in people's minds, that they would think about and talk about as kind of a conversation piece. So the 5-mile rule is, I'm 5 miles away from my house, I'm sitting in my car, and I forgot my smartphone, and it's back at home.
Right.
Will I go back home and get it? Yes, I will. I need it for Twitter. I need it, I love Twitter. But I also need it for my email and my family's connections and so forth. And, people just use their smartphones every day now. And so the 5-mile rule, you think about that with applications and why I go back. Why would I go return? What applications do I actually need it for? Yeah. And so I think about that with my smartwatch. What compelling reason do I have to go back and get my smartwatch when I'm 5 miles away? Well, not a lot right now. So how far away? Well, I've locked the door to my house. No. I'm just outside the bedroom. Okay, maybe then I'll go back and get it.
Right, yeah, it just seems a nice kind of simple, tangible way for any developer or person building content or hardware to think about mobile content, right? That, yeah, I found that really enchanting and useful, but I'll remember it's the 5-mile rule.
Well, the key to mixed reality is you're moving throughout the world.
Yeah.
And so you're actually, that's part of where you go wherever you're actually at. And the first devices will be, in our living rooms, in our offices, but eventually, outside, walking down the beach, absolutely everywhere. So having applications that you want to use every day and passing that toothbrush test of, I need this every single day, I can't live without it, is key to just the actual success of the platform.
Great. Well, just to say thank you so much for your time, Graeme, and thank you for coming to develop and sharing that talk with us. It was absolutely brilliant. Cheers.
Absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Great stuff.